enjoying the Doom Rig of the Day episodes. This one, I figured I'd do a little bit of my impressions of the rigs and what I thought about it. So, with the solid state versus the tube, obviously for the solid state, I'm using my QSC solid state power amp, a big rack mount PA style power amp. And then for the tube, I'm using my Marshall Origin 20H with the effects loop only. So the pedals feed into the effects loop return. So it is a pretty good comparison as far as I'm using two power amps. Now what I will say, and you can hear it in the initial clips, is the clean power, the solid state power amp is very clean with my EMGs on my Schecter plugged straight in, and the tube actually has a bit of overdrive to it, which I kind of knew, but it was a lot more than I was expecting. Like the Marshall power amp, just with the guitar, with the EMGs, is pushed pretty much into overdrive territory to start with. Also really important that I should note is that to get the volumes kind of the same, so my QSC power amp is a 270 watt per side at 4 ohm, and I have the volume knob on the QSC at about 7 or 8. Now the Marshall I had attenuated, so it's down to roughly half a watt. That's clean, so it's pushing probably a few watts, and it's pretty loud, honestly, through my 412 crate blue Voodoo cab. So in my DAW, I had to make the solid state section about 6 dB louder to get them close in volume. Now, there was a little bit of difference in volume, but I think you get the character that each of the power amps imparted, I think, pretty well. So with the solid state, obviously that's designed for PA use, so it's very wide range. So it goes, it's cleaned down below 50 hertz. I think there's a roll off at 30 hertz with one of the switches in the back. So it has a wider low and high end response, but because I'm using guitar gear, none of that matters. I think it really is not producing the ultra lows through my guitar speakers with my guitar rig. Whereas the tube amp, I'm sure, has less of a frequency response down in the lows and the highs, but it doesn't matter because it's for guitar, and those mid-range and low mid-range frequencies are translating really well. Now my impressions using the two in the room is I was really surprised how much articulation and detail the tube had versus the solid state, and just the inherent way they react to distortion, to kind of input dynamics. Like the tube was much more dynamic, it had a push and pull feel to it. It also was a little warmer, but definitely in the tube you get a lot more articulation, but at the same time it's also noisier. So there's a lot more ambient noise, inherent noise in a tube circuit versus a solid state. Solid state you can get loud, really clean, really like you can get power from the solid state. But that's not, you can't underestimate a tube. Even a small tube amp really in the power section has a lot of power. And so I hope you've been enjoying these video episodes. Tomorrow I'm about to release a pretty extensive episode, just kind of my impressions of all the gear that I've used so far. There's quite a few pedals and amp rigs that I've tested. I've used 2 guitars at this point for the videos. I hope you enjoyed it and continue enjoying it. Thank you. Please subscribe if you aren't already. And yeah, just thanks guys for checking this out.